This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven Sun. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching or participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Wednesday night, November the 10th, 2021. Special early Wednesday show because someone's got something to do with his college tonight. Not me, by the way. Not me. No. Joining me as always in the upper left-hand portion of the screen, deep in his underground bunker in the heart of Center County, Pennsylvania, the one, the only, non-genetically proven Sun.
Woo!
How's it going?
It's going.
It's going?
It's going.
So, I'm going to put you on the spot to start.
All right.
Normally, obviously, we talk ahead of time about what we're going to discuss on the show, do we not?
That we do.
But I'm going to put you on the spot tonight.
Okay.
Over the weekend, somebody who I will keep nameless, and I told him to watch the show tonight. Don't know if they are, or if they'll catch it, when it gets uploaded. Didn't believe me that I know how to cook.
Okay.
So, I know we did an episode a long time ago about the favorite foods that I make. So, in any order, top 5 of your favorite foods that I make, go.
Meatballs. Meatloaf. Baked ziti.
So far, you got 3 out of the 5 that I picked. That I knew you'd pick. There's one that's simple.
There's one that's like, I can taste it, but I can't, think of it.
You make them in water.
Polish hamburgers. That was the one I could taste, but I could picture it, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
Yep.
Oh.
And the 5th one that I said you would say that I haven't made in years because it takes forever is potato dumplings in beef stew.
No. Pot roast.
Pot roast. Crock pot roast.
Yeah, crock pot roast.
So a lot of meat selections in there.
Yeah, I could go the pizzas that you make with the Don Pepone, whatever
Don
his name
Pepino.
is, that sauce.
Don
Those
Pepino.
pizzas are pretty good.
Yeah.
The Chick-fil-A chicken you made one time, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
The noodles with eggs, the egg noodles
and
fries,
eggs,
that's
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. There's one more that I'm thinking of. That I got the recipe off of some short little blonde girl one time.
Parmesan crusted chicken.
Parmesan crusted chicken. Made with Kraft mayonnaise, not Hellmann's, by the way. So, do I know how to cook, or don't I know how to cook?
I'd say you know how to cook.
I mean, you don't get a body like mine without knowing how to cook.
True. Very
Yes.
true.
By the way, you haven't had my regular hamburgers in quite a long time. They've gotten a lot better. And I spice them up though with only two ingredients these days, and that's just pepper and onion salt. And they're banging. They're banging. Still trying to master the Juicy Lucy, by the way. The Juicy Lucy. Do you want to explain what a Juicy Lucy is?
A Juicy Lucy is one meat patty, one burger, thinner burger.
Yeah.
Take another meat patty, put some cheese on top of one of them, smash them together.
Yeah, and then you got to seal it though. That's the key.
Yeah, that's the hard part, is trying not to get the cheese to leak out.
Yes.
Because if it does, it's just a really thick burger at that point.
Yes. So it's a burger with molten cheese on the inside. Yes. So, I do know how to cook. By the way. All right, so before we get into what we think of this week's college football rankings, I do want to pass along Phatts TV's best to a watcher of ours. His name is Nick, who I don't know if he's in surgery right now or if he's out of surgery, but he is either in the process of having or had major surgery today. Not life-threatening surgery, thankfully, but surgery nonetheless. So we want to pass along a big Phatts TV get well soon to our buddy Nick. If you want to say get well soon to our buddy Nick.
Yeah. Oh.
Good bowler back in the day, too, by the way. Back when plastic balls were king. That just shows his age. Nick's got a few years on me. So, get well soon, Nick. Hopefully by this time next week, you'll be watching our show again. When it's not interfering with Jeopardy. He doesn't watch when it's at 7 o'clock because it interferes with Jeopardy.
All right, then.
So, week 2 of the college football rankings are out.
That they are.
The top 7, Georgia number 1, Alabama number 2, Oregon number 3, Ohio State number 4, Cincinnati number 5, Michigan number 6, Michigan State number 7. You got a problem? I do.
I don't think Michigan should be behind Cincinnati.
Neither do I.
I don't think Michigan State should be in the top 7.
I disagree vehemently.
I'd probably put them at 8 or 9.
So you would put Oklahoma ahead of them?
Probably because they just lost to an unranked Purdue.
Who's now ranked, by the way?
Because they beat the number 3 team. Otherwise, they would not be ranked.
Let's also not forget they also beat the number 2 team when they were number 2.
At the time, who was might as well be the number 29,000th team because they're not that good.
So, do you disagree with the top 4?
Nah, I think it's fine.
I unfortunately do not disagree with the top 4 either.
I think it's fine. You could make an argument that you can maybe put Oregon above Alabama, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I can't make that argument, though. But Alabama's not going to be there at the end of the year. Anyway, they're going to lose to Georgia. They'll be lucky if they don't lose. They could have lost as a 29 freaking point favorite last week at home.
Against a team who gives up like 50 points a game.
I mean, let's put it this way. A few weeks ago, we were saying, Georgia, Alabama, everybody else. Well, now it's Georgia, everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the good teams that either lost or won extremely close games last week. I mean, Oregon didn't look extremely impressive. Alabama could have lost. Ohio State only won by single digits. Michigan State lost. Cincinnati's looked bad for the past 3 weeks.
Minnesota lost.
I mean,
Cincinnati barely won.
I just said that.
Sorry. Baylor lost. Auburn lost.
So, all right. So you think Michigan State should be 8. I think they should be 5. There is no way. No way. Are you listening to me? No way you could put Michigan in front of Michigan State. If they played 6 weeks ago, fine. But they just played 9 days ago, or 10 days now. 11 days, whatever it is. And please correct me if I'm wrong, non-genetically proven son. Michigan State won that game.
They did.
So they gave Michigan a loss. Michigan has 1 loss. Michigan State now goes on the road to Purdue. Purdue's already beaten a number 2 team in the nation at the time. And they beat the number 3 team in the nation at the time. How could you put Michigan State behind Michigan? That makes no sense whatsoever. None. Zip. Zero. Zilch. None.
To me, unless you're in the top 4, it really doesn't matter.
But it does
Michigan
matter.
State still controls their destiny.
But it does matter. That's
Why?
the thing. It does matter.
Who cares?
Why? Okay, why? Here's why. So you're the number 15 ranked. Who's the number 15 ranked team? Pull up the
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Okay, good. Ole Miss. If Ole Miss is ranked 23rd and not 15th, does that not sway the opinion of the 13 people that are in that room? I mean, you're right. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're outside the top 4 to get in the playoffs. But it matters who you've beaten to get to that top 4. So the higher the teams are underneath, the better your resume looks. That's where I'm going with this.
I think it doesn't matter because Michigan State still has to play Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And if they tie Michigan for first, they get the tiebreaker.
They do.
So it don't matter.
They do. Yes. Yeah. All of those teams, meaning Ohio State, Michigan, basically control their own destiny. Except for maybe Michigan. Obviously, if Ohio State wins out, they're making the playoffs. They're in the playoffs right now. If Michigan State wins out, they would have beaten Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. If Michigan wins out, they would have beaten Ohio State, Penn State, and whomever else is in the West. So it would be a question of if they have a 1-loss record and Michigan State has a 1-loss record, which team are you going to put in? I would argue you'd have to put in Michigan State because they beat Michigan.
Michigan will not have a 1-loss record, to be honest.
You think they lose this week?
I don't know.
You're going to be in the stadium.
Thanks. I know who I'm going to be rooting for, at least. And not the team in white. And yellow, because maize isn't a color.
No, it's a thing you get lost in. Or it's corn.
Because this is my background for the week. It says it's, and then the time, and Michigan still sucks.
You know, I just explained to somebody yesterday how no matter like what gets said, it always ends with "and Michigan still sucks" up at Penn State.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that.
The best part is when we're not playing Michigan.
Right. Right. And I said that. That's exactly what I said. I said they could be playing Rutgers at field hockey and it would still be "and Michigan still sucks."
Yeah. And it just so happened the week we play Michigan in football, we played them in hockey twice. We just played them in the Big Ten soccer semifinals, and we won 2-0.
Because Michigan
still sucks. We probably could have put in 6.
Were you there?
I was there.
Oh.
It was hot. The sun was in my face the whole game.
Oh, poor child. Poor
So
child.
it was hot.
Poor child. Oh, it was 60 some odd degrees, but it was hot because the sun was in my face the entire day. Oh, God. Oh, let me play the violin. Oh, do you need a hug, child?
No.
Okay. It was hot. So, you have no problem then with the top 4?
No.
No. If you had to project who's making the playoffs right now, who's making the playoffs?
Georgia.
Not in any particular order. Like, you don't have to give me, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just give me 4.
Georgia, Ohio State. You could say Oregon, but I really don't think they're the third best team in the nation. But the problem is, Pat kind of sucks, and if you keep winning, well, you're not going to drop. Then you come down to it'd be impossible to put Alabama in. Then do you want to put Cincinnati in, or do you want to put Oklahoma in at that point?
Got it.
So we'll go with Oklahoma.
Okay.
I think they would. I think the committee would sooner choose them over Cincinnati.
Okay. What has to happen for Cincinnati to make it? Obviously, they got to win out. Obviously.
You need Oklahoma to not win the Big 12.
Okay, so Oklahoma needs at least 1 loss.
Yeah.
Or does a 1-loss Oklahoma team that wins the Big 12 championship get in over Cincinnati? So let's say Oklahoma loses this week to Baylor.
It depends who their loss is to. Baylor, they'll still make it. I'd still rather them. But if they go and lose to somebody who's unranked, or they get murdered by somebody, if they got murdered by Baylor, 58-17, well,
okay,
I think that would kind of smack your chances out the door.
Okay. Does a 1-loss Ohio State, Michigan, or Michigan State make it over an undefeated Cincinnati? Obviously, all those teams now have 1 loss, so one of those teams wins out.
I think they all would.
Okay. I agree.
I think in the Big Ten, whoever wins it's in. Unless, somehow everybody gets 2 losses.
Right.
So we beat Michigan State, Michigan beats Ohio State, we beat Michigan. So everybody gets 2 losses.
Got it. So, if Georgia is undefeated, Alabama has 2 losses, Oregon has 2 losses, Oklahoma has 1 loss, and nobody in the Big Ten has less than 2 losses, since he would make it.
Yeah, I feel like you'd have to pony up.
Is there any 2-loss teams that would vault over Cincinnati? I say no.
I think it depends who.
Okay.
I think there's a chance a 2-loss Ohio State makes it through, assuming they still win the Big Ten. But it's kind of hard to do that. I mean, they could still do it, I think. Because let's just say they lose to Michigan. We beat Michigan. Ohio State would still get the bid.
So let's just say Ohio State loses this week and then runs the table.
That's probably a better example. So yeah, they would win the Big Ten title game. They're going to end up facing probably Wisconsin, who I think they'll smack around.
Okay.
So I think there's a chance. It might be one of those years where they just the committee goes, fine, let's put Cincinnati in. Because we haven't done it forever. Ever. They haven't put one of those group of 5 teams in.
Well, not forever. Ever.
Yeah, forever. They've never
It's
happened.
never happened.
And I almost want them to put them in just so it can never happen again.
Well, there's eventually going to be expanded playoffs. Whether
But
it's...
I'm going to do it now. Just do it now.
Yeah.
Put them in. Fine. They're undefeated. And there's 2 other 1-loss teams and everybody else is 2-loss. Fine. Put them in. And when they lose by 50, that's when we can always point back and say, this is why you're not in.
Well, if they played Georgia, they would lose by 35.
Because I would even make an argument if there's 8, they still shouldn't be in. They're not as good as anyone else in that top 8.
Well, they're certainly not playing as good as they were earlier in the season, like even when they beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, they're beating teams by 10.
Teams that they should be beating by 30, they're beating by 10.
Yeah, like Michigan State would beat them by 3 touchdowns. Michigan would beat them by 3 touchdowns. Ohio State would beat them by 3 touchdowns. Like Oregon, honestly, the closest game might be the Oregon game.
See, but here's the problem. You're only seeing what's actually happening, which makes sense. You're seeing what's actually happening. You don't know how motivated they would get to play a Ohio State or a Michigan. I mean, they went into Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame.
What would be interesting, which is the most likely thing to happen in Cincinnati, they get to 5. That's where they finish. And then they go and face a Michigan State in whatever they want to put them in.
The Fiesta Bowl.
Whatever bowl they want to put them in. I think that would prove how good they were.
Well, we've seen that scenario before.
Yeah, when UCF played LSU, and I think they actually won.
Or when Boise State played whomever and beat them back in the day. An undefeated Boise State team, I believe they played Oklahoma, I think it was. And
yeah,
they beat
with
them.
Tim Tebow or something.
Tim Tebow played for Florida.
Whoever played for Boise at the time.
So, I mean, that's the thing. You don't know. I mean, Cincinnati is playing a bunch of cupcakes, so they know they need to win by 30 to look good, but is that enough for them to get up for the game? That's the question. It would be great if they had one more top 10 ranked team on their schedule.
You know who they might face in whatever bowl? Alabama.
It's certainly possible.
Put them against Alabama.
I tell you right now.
There you go.
I tell you right now, an undefeated Cincinnati team would give Alabama the game of their life. I will say that right now.
They would try to, at least.
I will take Cincinnati at anything above 2 touchdowns. Anything.
Because you're probably going to get 20.
I will take Cincinnati.
I wouldn't touch it.
Why would I take Cincinnati? That's a simple answer.
Because Alabama's not in the playoffs. So
Alabama will not be motivated at all to play that game. Yep. I would. Oh my God! I would put your college fund on that game. So it's your ass that's riding. What's ever left of it after all the bills that I paid so far, of your almost 7 semesters plus a summer class that I paid for. Yeah. All right. So on to the NFL.
Now, can we talk about one more thing?
Sure. Do you want to talk about Penn State? Like, what do you want to talk about? Are we talking about the game this week? This noon kickoff when the stadium is going to be all white except for 4 sections that are going to be in blue?
2 sections.
4 sections.
Well, it's lower and upper section.
Exactly.
No, I want to talk about more why Auburn and Wisconsin, who are both 6-3, by the way,
Are above Penn State.
are above Penn State, who's not ranked. But Oregon's still above Ohio State, and I would personally think Ohio State's a better team than Oregon.
Okay, number one, I agree that Penn State should be ranked. I mean, yes, they have 3 losses. They would have beaten Iowa if Sean Clifford's not hurt. There's no doubt in my mind.
If Clifford's not hurt, we have 1 or 0 losses.
Exactly.
We are top 6.
Exactly.
We're probably sitting at
5.
4 or 5.
5.
If we were undefeated, we'd be at 2.
Right.
So.
Well, probably not. Undefeated, you'd be at 3 because they would still put Alabama up there. They would. You know that they would. As much as you and I would disagree with it, Alabama would be 2.
Even though beating a number 2, beating a number 6, like,
yes.
yeah.
Alabama would still be 2. So Penn State would be 3 if they were undefeated. If they only had lost to Ohio State in the kind of game that they played Ohio State, they would be sitting at 5 right now.
Yeah.
But because of one injury, well, 2 injuries, let's say. Don't discount that defensive lineman's injury. That played a big role.
Since he was our leading rush stopper, basically.
Yes. I mean, the offense did not look good against Maryland. I mean, their offense really either looks good or looks god-awful. I mean, I won that game. I had them in the pool at 9.5. And I did bet them at 9.5. But it was 10 when I bet it. I bought the half. Paid the extra juice to buy the half. Which now I've showed you how to bet, to move the lines and pay the extra juice. Because it's not like you're putting thousands on a game. You better not be putting thousands on a game. If you are, I hope you're winning.
Yeah.
So then you should be paying your own college.
Unknowing to you, I'm a millionaire.
Help? Help. I hope you're a millionaire because you actually bought, $50,000 worth of Dogecoin when it was 0.00002, and you sold it when it was at 70 cents.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Speaking of that, really quick, I saw an alert on Twitter today that some guy's Bitcoin wallet that had been offline for 8.5 years woke up today. Like it got logged into. Now, how the hell they know that? Who knows? But it has 2,200 Bitcoin in it or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right.
You wanna share?
On to the NFL. Our top 10 list. Well, we each did a top 10 list. Let's face it, last week's game sucked. There was a lot of upsets.
I didn't watch a single one of them.
No, because you were getting laid, probably.
I was playing disc golf.
Same thing.
I was walking 14 miles up and down mountains, which equivalent to 75 flights of stairs.
Yeah. Big whoop.
With a 20-pound bag on my back.
Oh, that thing weighs 20 pounds?
Yeah.
What the hell do you have in there?
The bag is heavy. It's the bottom of it's like a durable plastic.
I was going to say, discs aren't that heavy.
No, those aren't heavy. Those are about 8 ounces a piece.
Wait,
the bag is physically heavy.
Why didn't you make the person who was with you carry the bag?
Because she didn't want to carry the bag.
Huh.
Because it's too heavy.
What? Whatever.
The bag's her size.
Whatever. Okay. Whatever. Well, the game stuck last week. Thankfully, I'm still in my work suicide pool. There's only 8 of us left.
Wow.
I had Baltimore. My choices that I were going to take were either Baltimore or Buffalo. So I'm glad I took Baltimore. Because I was saving Buffalo for a couple weeks down the road when they're the only team that I like in a week.
They looked great last week.
The other team I could have taken was the Steelers, and they scared me, and they only won by 2. I could take the Steelers this week too against Detroit, or I could take Tampa against Washington. We'll talk about when we get to the picks why I might do that. So anyway, our top 10 list. Who is your number 10 team?
The LA Chargers.
This is really this is shaken up, from the last time we did this.
A little different.
For the most part.
The LA Chargers are my number 10 team.
Okay. All right. Mine's New Orleans Saints. By the way, Chargers are my number 11 team. If we did the top 11, I'd put the top 11. And the reason why I didn't put them in the top 10, they are technically winning their division at 5-3, but they have a negative point differential. So you're winning games, but the games you're losing, they did get blown out against, was it Cleveland blew them out? Somebody blew them out, which did that. All right, who's your number 9?
New Orleans Saints.
Oh, really? I have the New England Patriots as number 9. Up and coming team. You're number 8.
Buffalo.
So do I. I got Buffalo at number 8 too.
They better watch out though.
Now we had Buffalo a lot higher a couple weeks ago.
I think I had them at 2.
I believe we did.
Buffalo better watch out because if the Patriots take the division, they may not give it back for 15 years again.
Have you been waiting all day to say that?
Yep.
Yep. You're number 17.
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, mine's Baltimore. You're number 16.
Baltimore.
Mine's Dallas. I can't penalize Dallas too much for that loss last week. Dak coming off of an injury. They looked really lackluster. I'll give them a pass for that. We probably have the same 5 teams in our top 5. I have a feeling. But our order might be different. Who's your number 5?
Tampa Bay.
I have Green Bay at number 5.
Oof.
You're number 4.
The Rams.
I have Tampa Bay at number 4. You're number 3.
Tennessee.
I have Tennessee at number 3. They've been playing impressive football. So they beat Buffalo. Then who did they beat?
I don't know.
Well, what other good team did they beat? And then they just beat the Rams.
Hold up.
Timeout. Commercial break.
They beat the Bills and they beat the Chiefs. They beat them 27-3. Then they beat the Colts, barely. Then they beat the Rams.
You didn't let me do my commercial break. I was going to talk about anal itch cream.
Oh.
Your number 2 team. Green
Arizona.
Bay. What? No. I understand why, though. I have the Rams at number 2, and obviously you have Green Bay at number 1.
With Aaron Rodgers. Not with Jordan Love. But if Aaron Rodgers was playing that last game, they win easily.
Probably.
Because they barely lost with a guy in his first start.
Who looked god-awful for sitting on the bench for a year and a half.
He really did. He did look bad. But, yeah, they beat the number 1 team.
They did.
Number 1 team, the Cardinals, in Arizona. Then they went to the Chiefs and they lost by 6 with a backup.
Yeah.
So, with Aaron Rodgers healthy and Devontae Adams healthy, I'll put them at number 1.
Okay.
Until the NFC title game, then they're going to lose, so it don't matter.
Sure. To Tampa Bay, probably.
To Tampa Bay.
Probably. All right. Fair enough. I understand. I could probably have Green Bay a little bit higher than what I do, but I mean, they haven't played the hardest of schedules.
Correct.
And you can only play who's on your schedule.
Yeah.
And they did go into Arizona when they were banged up and win the game. You play to win the game.
And by the way, your number 1 team is probably Arizona.
Yes.
And what? I have him at number 2? Guessing you thought I had him at number 1.
Yes. No, my number 1 team, I have a tie between the Jets and the Texans.
and the Jacksonville.
Hey, they got to win.
6-3 or whatever.
9-6.
9-6.
9-6. 9-6. All right, so we're moving the show right along because we want to try to be done by 7 because this kid's got to get to whatever he's doing tonight. All I know is it involves 2 cartons of Luckies and 2 hookers who don't have teeth. That's all I know.
What the?
I hope they're female hookers. That's all
Alrighty
I'm
then.
gonna say. Maybe that's why that bag is so heavy. It's all full of protection, prophylactic devices for your protection.
All right.
He wears 8 of them just so A, he's protected well enough, and B, so the girls feel it. Ooh, that was a low blow. That was low. That was a low blow. How could you say such a thing?
What?
That was a low blow. Oh man, that was low. So without further ado, let's do the facts. Phantastic Five.
Woo!
Now, you ripped me last week so bad because I went 0-5 the week before when I should have went 3-2.
Yeah.
I got very unlucky. So let's look at your picks from last week, shall we? Shall we?
Sure.
Let's. You had Ohio State first half minus 7.5. Was that a winner?
They were leading by 7.
Oh, the hook got you. You had Michigan State minus 3. Was that a winner?
They lost outright.
Yeah, you had Michigan team total over 34.5. Was that a winner?
I think they scored like 32.
Something like that, 31, 32. Oh, there's that Cincinnati team that you keep betting. Yeah.
God, do they look bad.
Yeah, did they cover the 22? Let me answer that for you. No.
I think they won by 7.
Oh, and look at this. Look at this. Green Bay, Kansas City, under 48. Let's give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! There was 20 points in that game.
So the hope is he had about 2,000 on that game and about $50 on all the other 4.
Yeah.
So a good week. That puts you at 22-28 on the season.
Good week, yeah.
22-20. Now let's look at your picks. And I got to say, when I saw your picks, because obviously, again, I have to enter these into our program to show them.
Right.
My first thought was, who the hell made these picks? Because these are not picks that I would expect a non-genetically proven son to ever make.
Me sitting at the soccer game at halftime, going through and looking at picks.
Because normally he picks, out of his 5 picks, normally like 9 of them are Big Ten games.
This is true. I really do pick a lot of Big Ten games.
And the last time he brought me, he's like, well, that's the conference I know best. Yeah, with your 22-28 record, that's the conference you know. Attaboy.
At least I think I know that conference best.
The worst part is that I just have no freaking clue what I'm doing this thing. As I'm clapping, going, attaboy, I'm looking at the camera. It's not like you could see me looking at the camera right now. You can't see either of us right now looking at the camera because the pick screen is up. But yes, I'm sitting here clapping, looking at the camera. What up? No wonder why you're such a dumbass, because we have to be genetically related. We have to be. We have to. All right, so here's your picks. Your first pick is definitely a loser. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
There
probably.
is no doubt that this pick is going to lose. And you have South Florida plus 23.5. Who are they playing? Cincinnati. You've only played on Cincinnati for the last 3 months and lost every time. Now you're playing against them, and they will cover the game. That's like, I think I'm going to bet $700 on Cincinnati as soon as this show is over, because I know they're now covering this game.
Yeah, probably. I'm annoyed with the trend. I'm annoyed with that they suck, so I'm finally going with the trend. Because you always said that before. If there's a trend, just keep betting with it till you lose.
Yep. So this is going to be another, I'm taking your college fund, what's left of it, and betting it on Cincinnati to cover this week. Speaking of you betting the same team week after week after week, you have Georgia.
I do.
First half minus 10.5 over Tennessee. So now you either take Georgia or Georgia team total like every week. Like,
I win it a lot of the time.
Nothing like beating a dead dog even more dead.
Hey, I probably hit that at like 66% of the time.
Probably. Without betting, if we took all your Georgia picks out, you'd probably have about 4 wins on the season.
4 of 6.
Yes.
The 6 times I've picked them.
Yes.
I was either going to take the over in the game or Georgia.
Got ya. I was going to make a pick in this game myself, but then I didn't. It was one of my last picks out. You have Houston. Hello. And I don't mean the Texans.
No.
You have Houston Cougars traveling up to Temple. Now, there's one hell of a football team. Your Temple Owls. What? I go to Temple. Hey, what's your mascot? An owl.
It's better than a Buckeye. What's your mascot? A nut.
Is that what a Buckeye is?
Yes, it's a tree nut.
It's a tree nut. Cool. Well, owls sit in a tree. A Buckeye grows in a tree. Whatever. I don't know. Somebody does owls eat Buckeyes by chance?
Maybe.
You're a tree nut. So you have Houston Cougars going up to Temple, giving 25. Now that's a lot of points to be giving on the road. I will say that.
Yeah, and Temple lost by 42. They lost to South Florida by 20. They lost to Cincinnati by 49. They beat Memphis. They beat Wagner.
You know, the week they lost to Cincinnati by 49, you probably didn't play Cincinnati that week.
No, I didn't. No, I did not.
Of course not. Yes. Yes. You know, I wonder, like, as I have this screen up on, like, my big screen TV that's in here, so I make sure, you know, everything's still kosher. Like, if somebody tuning in for the first time reads that Phatts Phantastic Phive that's at the top, they're like, doesn't this asshole know how to fucking spell? like, what? Like, Phatts, what? What was it? Non-genetically proven? Like, who the fuck is this? like, it's so stupid, I gotta watch. And they're watching.
Pretty much.
Yes. You have Clemson, team total over 44.5. I don't know if they've scored 44.5 points all season added together.
They scored 30 in their last 2 games.
Now, mind you, they're playing a team coming off a double bye.
They're also playing probably the worst team in NCAA.
Off a double bye. They've had 3 weeks to prepare. UConn has had 3 weeks to prepare for Clemson. 3 weeks.
This isn't basketball.
3 weeks.
Where UConn men isn't bad.
They've had 3 weeks to prepare.
Top 25 team.
You know the line in this game is 40.
Yeah, I know what the line is.
And Clemson's team total is 44.5.
Yes. Huh. UConn over under is 3.5.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Seriously, is it?
3.5.
Like, you're not joking?
No, I'm not joking.
I'll take that. I'll take that bet.
3.5.
I'll take that. They'll get like a safety called back on them or something.
I thought about it because, like, what are the odds they get 2 field goals? Well, yeah, they'll probably at least get 1.
I'll take 3 weeks to prepare. I'll take that bet.
They might score a touchdown in like garbage time when they're down, 60.
I might play a parlay with your college fund. All right.
Cincinnati and the team total over of UConn.
Yes. And here's your one pro play. He tells me, I'm not playing college anymore. I suck at college. I'm taking pros. And he has 1 pro game a week.
Yeah.
And what do you know? It's the Kansas City Chiefs again.
Yep.
Under again. This time they're on the road going to Vegas, baby. Vegas. Wonder if they're going to stop and get some hookers. Under 51.5. Interesting pick. Why did you take the under in this game?
Well, the Chiefs can't score. Let's go back. The last 3 games, 13 points, 20 points, 27 points. If they do anything similar to... No, sorry, 3 points. My bad. 3 points, 20 points, 13 points. So if they do anything similar, it'll go under.
That's a good pick.
The Raiders are the Raiders. They do about the same. About 20, 25 points a game. So
Yeah.
I'm looking for like 18 to 14 kind of game.
By the way, if you, again, you can't see us right now, but if you could see us, he did something actually really funny. Not that, no. When he was saying if they do anything similar to that, you know, the game's going under. When he did that, he got like really close to the computer screen and turned his head and gave like the Rock's eyebrow raise.
What?
It was like really weird. It was super, super weird. It was super weird.
Okay.
All right. Well, so you have South Florida plus 23.5. Unusual for you, taking a game where a team's getting that many points. Very unusual. You have Georgia first half minus 10.5. You have Houston, hello, minus 25. You have Clemson team total over 44.5. That's a lot of points. And you have Kansas City, Vegas under 51.5.
Now, when you say that's a lot of points, let's go to your last week's picks, where 76.5 was easy.
Yeah, they had that in the third quarter.
Exactly.
So here are my picks from last week. I had Ohio State team total over 40.5. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Did not happen. Wake, North Carolina over 76.5. I said, if you recall, that this game will be just like last year's game when they scored over 100 points. They scored over 100 points. Penn State minus 9.5 winner. It really helped. They had that interception return for a touchdown late in the game, which took me from potentially losing to now safely covering. Alabama team total over 47.5. I still don't know how they only scored 20 points in this game. I have no clue. No clue. None. None whatsoever. None. And Atlanta, New Orleans under first half 21. I'm glad I did that and not for the entire game because they scored 10 points in the first half. And the game went over. They scored like 48 total points or something like that. So I went 3-2 for the week, bringing my record up to 27-23. While you're 22-28. Ha ha.
A lot of season left.
There is.
We're only halfway through.
So, here are my picks for the week. And as I say every week, the non-genetically proven son does not know what I pick until he sees them. So it's interesting to always get his initial reaction. So, here we go. I have one college game this week. I have your Miami Hurricanes traveling up I-95 and then maybe some other route to get to Tallahassee, Florida to take on the Florida State Seminoles. Miami is giving less than a field goal. I will take that all day long. All day long, baby. All day long. They've won 4 straight in the series. They blew them out last year by like 40 some odd points. Miami's a better team than they were last year. Florida State's about the same as they were last year. I wouldn't say they're any better. I wouldn't say they're any worse. I will take only giving 2.5 with your Miami Hurricanes. Detroit Lions. Yes, they have not won a game yet. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, right? They haven't won a game yet.
Correct, but they are coming off a bye.
They are coming off a bye, and this is, I have made in my betting career, which spans a little bit longer than yours.
Yeah, a little.
A lot of money when the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing teams that they should destroy. The Pittsburgh Steelers do not get up for games like this at all. Ever. They're like 2-102 against the spread in the last 2 seasons. Pittsburgh just came off of a Monday night game, which they barely won. Potentially aided by the referees. Potentially.
That wasn't potential. That was aided by the referees.
Yeah, but you don't know how the games would have played out, is what I'm saying. Still. But it was very interesting. It looked
like it was trying to be thrown.
It was very, very interesting. And now I do wish I was getting, 11, not 9. So I'll take Detroit here, getting the points. Typically, when 0-win teams go on their bye, they usually come off their bye and start playing a lot better. There's another little tip for you people that like to bet. You could usually, your ROI is usually positive if you just start betting winless teams against the spread after their bye. That's usually en fuego. Speaking of teams coming off their bye, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers giving 9.5 to the football team. Which football team, you say? Why, Scranton State School for the Deaf, of course.
Yeah.
Let's recall what happened to Tampa Bay after their bye last year. Oh, they went undefeated, I believe. I do believe they did not lose a game after their bye last year. I could be wrong. Maybe they had one loss, but correct me if I'm wrong, they won the Super Bowl.
That they did.
Yeah, they're off their bye. I'll take them. Washington hasn't scored much they're off a bye too. Washington hasn't scored much their last 3 games. Tampa's putting up points. Yes, they just lost before the bye to New Orleans, but for some reason they always lose to New Orleans. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is for either team. They tend to lose to New Orleans unless it's in the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Arizona at home giving 10.5 to the Carolina Panthers. Carolina probably without Sam Darnold for this game. Arizona typically wins their games by double digits. If you look back, pull up Arizona's when their record, their scores this year, and read me their scores. Like how many they won by. Can you do subtraction really quick in your head?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
25, 1, 12, 17, 7, 23, 26, 3. They lost by 3. And 14.
All right. So a lot of their wins are by more than 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're playing against a backup quarterback who sucks.
Who's their Gardner Minshew or something?
Is it Brock Heward? I think.
I don't know.
I don't know. Probably some quarterback who went to Ohio State, probably. Who sucks.
Damn. Just throwing it out there.
And my last pick, the Minnesota Vikings, LA Chargers to go over 53 points.
James Morgan?
I think he's their 3rd string.
PJ Walker?
I think he's their 12th string.
Well, those are the only running backs they have on the roster.
Not running backs, quarterbacks.
I said quarterbacks.
You said running backs.
Well, those are the only quarterbacks they have on the roster.
All right, well, that's even better.
James Morgan, he went to Florida International.
Same
PJ
thing.
Walker went to Temple.
Okay.
Hey.
Who played quarterback for them last week? They played New England.
Darnold.
Then he got hurt. So who came in after that?
Nobody.
Okay.
He went 16 for 33, 162 yards, and 3 interceptions.
Okay. Guess they discovered the injury after the game. Well, nonetheless, I'm still taking Arizona minus 10.5. Minnesota Chargers over 53. Minnesota, every game that they've played on the road this year has gone over the total. They have a lot of starters out on defense. The Chargers got a lot of starters out on defense. The only thing that concerns me about this game, and I read about it about a half an hour before showtime, Minnesota has a player, they didn't say who, that is currently in the hospital because of COVID. A vaccinated player, not unvaccinated. So, God only knows what might happen if other people on the team catch it. Will they postpone the game? Who the hell knows? Don't know.
Josh says the Temple quarterback came from the XFL.
There you go. See that? Yeah.
PJ Walker.
Yeah. Josh would know.
That amazing season the XFL had.
Yeah. He would know. One game that I was, the last pick, like I thought about when I heard that, should I change my pick? And if I did change it, I would have taken New Mexico State plus 52 over Alabama. Just laying it out there right now. Alabama does not like to run up scores against these cupcake teams. They'll score 35, 38 points in the first half and then put in their 12th string in the third and fourth quarter. I mean, they played the Citadel earlier this year, and they didn't cover the big spread.
They never covered the spread against Citadel.
They played Penn State Schuylkill earlier in the year. They didn't cover the big spread.
Played Kutztown.
They played some junior college out of Sheboygan, and they didn't cover the spread. So my picks for the week: Miami Hurricanes minus 2.5, Detroit Lions plus 9, Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus 9.5, Arizona Cardinals minus 10.5, and the over 53 in the Minnesota Vikings LA Chargers. And those are your Phatts Fantastic 5 for the week. Come on, give us that look that you made. What you want to like if they don't score 14.
I probably was trying to look at the basketball game.
If they don't score 14.
What you're talking about?
Well, I'm just telling you what you did. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just got a couple minutes left because he's got to get going. Are you going out in a Manchester City jersey? Or are you gonna put on your black and pink Penn State jersey?
I will be putting on my black and pink Penn State jersey.
Should I watch the game? Am I gonna see you on camera?
Maybe.
Where's your Phatts TV sign or your Team Phatts sign, you bastard?
It's over there.
I thought you threw it away.
No, it's over there, I think.
You told me you threw it away. You said it got all wet, I threw it away.
Maybe I did throw it away.
It got all wet, I threw it away, I peed on it, someone peed on it. Team Phatts. Get the cheerleaders, though.
We'd see it on college game day because it was pretty noticeable.
It was pretty noticeable. It was. You should, find a way to switch it with one of the cheerleaders that hold up the PEN, the Penn State sign, so that the second N, it comes up PEN Team Phatts ST. What the fuck is that? Yeah,
it'd be pretty funny.
That would be pretty funny. Talk about notoriety.
Yeah,
that's what we like to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy Wednesday to watch the show. If you're bored tonight, if you have the Big Ten Network, watch Penn State basketball. You might see the non-genetically proven son. He'll turn around to the camera and wave because the camera is on the student's side. Maybe he'll be running the camera. Who knows? One can only hope. All right. Have a safe, happy, healthy weekend. If you want to lose money, play our picks.
What? I'm going 5-0.
That's what I say to that.
So 4-1. Cincinnati's going to cover.
You're damn right Cincinnati's going to cover that game. You're damn right they will. Very quick, force prediction. Final score, Penn State game.
28-24 Penn State.
Ooh, 28-24 Penn
Sorry,
State.
27-24 Penn State.
27-24 Penn State. Good pick. Good pick. Good pick. Good pick. Good pick.
That was what you were going to say.
No, it wasn't. I'm still trying to formulate a score here. I will say 23-19. Don't ask me how I came up with those totals.
23-19. That's a
23-19.
Monsters Inc. reference.
Oh, cool. All right.
23-19.
23-19
That's
Penn
an
State.
odd score.
Well, that's for Penn State. It's 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals.
I'm trying to. 19 is the odd one.
19 is 19 is a field goal and 6 safeties.
Interesting way to get 19.
It's going to go into 27 overtimes. And they're just going to keep getting 2 points. Unlike the Illinois game. 19 could be 1 touchdown and 4 field goals. Hey, I just wanted to come up with a strange number, okay?
That's actually quite a likely thing for Penn State's defense to hold him to as a lot of field.
2-1.
That's impossible. 4-2.
He's going to score in a shootout in the 5th round.
4-2.
All right. We only got one thing to say before we leave. And Michigan
still sucks.
See you next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Michigan!
Wave goodbye to the good people. See ya.